Hello, and welcome to Mother Earth's Sacred Sites, portals to spiritual awakening and finding your heart's desire. I'm Peggy Moore, and I'm your host for this summit. Our intention is to help people who are on a spiritual path find the connection between the energy of the earth, sacred sites, and the advancement of one's spiritual path. Through the summit, I want you to discover how this ancient wisdom can guide you in finding your heart's desire, your soul's purpose. Then allow that energetic connection to help you discover how to live to your highest potential. My guest today is Karen Crowley Suzani. Um, she is a sacred geometry and earth energy expert. She loves traveling to sacred sites and investigating the energetic qualities present. All sacred sites are built using a combination of the energies of the sun and the earth, which she calls energetic solar geometry. This is the real sacred geometry and is connected to life itself. Sharing the healing energies of sacred sites with others is one of Karen's passions. She leads tours to Brittany, France, a magical land full of megaliths, ancient trees, and holy wells and chapels. One of the unique things Karen shares on her tours is how energetic solar geometry and earth energies present at sacred sites can be used to raise your vibration and open and align your chakras. The title of Karen's talk today is How Sacred Sites Balance, Align, and Raise Your Vibration and Energy System. Welcome, Karen. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Peggy. I am so happy to be here too. This is a wonderful experience and opportunity. So I appreciate you reaching out to me. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for being here. I would want you to just jump right in and talk about, what you do and what's your heart's desire. And let's start with talking about what a sacred site actually is, what that means.
Okay. Well, for me, a sacred site is a place where a human being can meet the divine. So it's a place where there's a connection between the cosmos and the earth, and where human beings can access the information and the higher vibrations that come from meeting the divine. So that being said,
Yeah.
um, how did man come up with all this fantastic things? Uh, what are the qualities of a sacred site? Where do you find them? It's not like we all have a fantastic manure in the back of our yard, or what comprises a sacred site. So what we've found is there's several things. I think one of the first things are what kind of energy does a sacred site have? What first comes the earth. The earth is very important to us, and what energies can we find that are within the earth itself, because these energies, these earth energies, they help power sacred sites. They give it energy. So among the first things that man found were water veins. Water veins travel underneath the earth. They're everywhere. If you're a dowser, you can find them. Most houses have water veins underneath them. You can go in your backyard and search for them. It's very easy. But these water veins have different qualities. They have different energetic qualities, and early man recognized this. If we think about early man, these people were probably much more sensitive to their environment than we are. We're stuck in houses or office buildings, and we have lost a lot of the contact between ourselves and the earth, and how in the natural world, we're I don't know, we're kind of blind. You know?
Yes.
We've lost a lot of sensibilities and sensitivity to the earth around us. And I think ancient man was much more sensitive than we are to what was going on. You know, they're much more in tune with the natural world, of course. Uh, so water veins are everywhere, and they have they're interesting, okay, because what they do is they change the energy that's coming radiating up from the earth. So we have natural healthy energy that's rising up from the earth, and it sustains us, it heals us, and if we don't have that connection, we're not going to live very long. They've done experiments with those, what are they called? Faraday cages, or some of those things where they block the normal radiation coming out of the earth, and people get sick very quickly. And as soon as they come back in contact with the earth, they they heal. Almost immediately. But what water veins do is they block the energy, the normal radiation of the earth. So there's a dip in the, there's a dip of energy that comes up. And so where was I going with that one? Anyway, there's a, people don't build houses over water veins.
Or water vein. Yes,
Yeah,
that's yeah, yeah.
well, you don't want to sleep over one for sure.
Mhm.
But you can use them to build sacred sites. For example, the Neolithic people, they found that if you find a big crossing of water veins, and you put a stone there, it's going to change the electromagnetic energy in that particular place. And this does several things. When you put a stone on top of a big crossing of water, it balances the energy. And funny enough, or interesting enough, it the it balances it, and it makes things grow better. So we've had many experiments with putting stones on a place like that, and one of our students, he actually put a stone in a field of grass because his friend had problems. There was brown spots everywhere. No matter how much they watered it, the grass was always brown in these certain places. Well, he put the stone there, and it balanced it, and the whole grass turned green everywhere. So it helps to balance the electromagnetic energy of a place, and things grow better. And another big thing, at least for probably Neolithic people, I don't know about you, but you know, when you hear thunder and lightning,
Mhm.
it's close, it's scary. You know, it's very scary.
Yeah.
And sometimes when it's right next to you, oh my gosh. But what menhirs do is they balance the energy, and there's no lightning strikes in that particular place. Because what happens when there's a crossing of water veins, there's that dip in the energy, and it calls the lightning. And so if you put a huge big menhir there, it balances the electromagnetic energy, and uh, you stop lightning strikes in a certain area, depending on how big the stone is, and all that. So, you know, that could, and who knows exactly what were in the minds of the people that actually put the stones. You know, we
Yeah.
can see what happens afterwards, but we don't know why they actually did it. You know, I can tell you what happens, but not the reason why they were doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, so anyway, water is one very important thing that was used to build sacred sites. And some menhirs were one of the first first sacred things that were built.
Mhm.
And also, I've got to say, water has a lot of different qualities. So, like, there's fertility waters, and there's waters that open the heart. There's waters that are related to the seventh chakra. So there's different kinds of waters and different qualities, and so a lot of the different place sacred sites that we've gone to, you can tell there's a different quality of energy in the different places, and they took advantage of that, and so they built their sacred sites around that, supporting that particular energy. Um, so anyway, so there's water. There's also faults, geological faults, and they have for the master builder, they're the energy of fire. So you have, the water energy of the water veins. You have faults that carry the fire energy, and some places were built where they'd have the water vein, and then they have the fault would be underneath it. And what that does, so you have the fire, you have the water, and it creates energetic steam, and the energetic steam rises up, and it helps clean your energy system and all the meridians and all that kind of stuff. Um, these are fantastic points. I love these points.
Yeah, yeah. Tell
uh,
tell us a few places where, I mean, not directions on how to get there, but where would some of these be in the locations in the world?
well, the point where the energetic steam thing, those are particular to Saint Michael. So many Saint Michael churches are built with that. It's a
Oh,
yellow fault, and the yellow fault has energy that rises up, and it has the water vein. And so many of the altars are for Saint Michael. Not all of them, but if it's a good Saint Michael church, it'll have this particular energy. So um, and you can feel it in your body. What it does is, it opens the kidney one point on the bottom of your feet, which is a it opens a major meridian, and the energy rises up and starts cleaning there, and then it cleans the whole energy system. And when you know that it's a St. Michael point, because you can feel these like little tickles on the bottom of your feet, and then you can start feeling it going up, 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 and then out the top of your head. Uh,
yeah.
so San Michael. Uh,
Okay. All right.
uh, yeah, 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 yeah. St. Michael points are I love seeing if the San Michael churches have the San Michael point, because sometimes most of the time they do, but not all builders are fantastic builders.
Mhm.
Some of
Right.
them miss the
Right. Yeah.
uh,
Oh, well, and what other kinds of energies would we find at other sacred sites?
um, so there's also energy vortexes, and energy vortexes are they come from the earth. They're everywhere. You can find them, and they're all different colors of the chakras. Um, And most of the time in churches, you're going to find ones that relate to the crown, or one that we call a crystalline one. It's kind of like for the eighth chakra, but the energy goes all the way through all the chakras out the top of your head and kind of pulls your energy up.
Hmm.
Uh, so I guess I should Okay, so maybe I should step back a little bit. So there, so the vortexes, they come, or they're created, they're found a lot of times with the underground water that flows. If you look at a stream or a river, you could see how there's the water eddies. It spirals here and there, and along the edges, there's a lot of eddies, and so and where two streams meet, you have two converging things. It's like, hurricanes, they have two converging air things, and so it starts spinning. So it's kind of like that. And the energy rises up, and you can feel it on the surface of the earth. And these vortexes of energies, they're different colors. They relate to the chakras. You can find the first chakra, second chakra, third chakra, and you can feel them in your body. We do a thing called body dowsing, because a lot of dowsing, I don't know if many of you all have dowsed, but sometimes there's the mental dowsing. So you have this idea, okay, I'm going to douse for this. And sometimes your mind can move the rods. I don't know if you've done that. I've done that.
Yes, I have.
You can fake out your own self.
Even more so with the pendulum.
Absolutely, I've been there too. But interestingly enough, if you start you can imagine it like a tube in your body. The Taoists use it to do different kinds of meditations and stuff. But it's kind of like an empty tube like thing that connects you to the earth and up to the cosmos. And it's empty, but you can sense things with it. And so you can sense the five elements, for example, in your body. You can sense like, okay, and so we use it to sense energies at sacred sites. So you find a point, let's say you can get up to the altar, and you stand at the altar and you just be neutral and see what kind of energy meets you. Where do you feel the energy? Is it a pressure in the first chakra? Do you feel like the energy is going down? Is the energy rising up to the second chakra? Does it feel kind of sexy? Is it opening your heart? Is it, can you feel it in your throat? Lots of times when something relates to the throat, it, how you go, you can feel the energy moving in your throat.
Mm-hmm.
It's doing something there. A lot of times you can feel energy when it hits your seventh chakra. It feels like little tickles on the top of your head. So, but the vortexes, they open, they balance, and they align your chakra system, which is fantastic. Okay, I need a question or something.
Well, talk about the energetic solar geometry. What exactly does that mean, and how do we use that?
Okay, so we'll go back to the very first geometry, or very first way people started building their sacred sites. It relates to the sun. The sun is the most important celestial being, and it was probably the first god. It has power over life, death, and it moves in the sky. Most people know that it moves north and south according to the seasons and the solstices. It stops and reverses direction. So the solstices were very, very important to ancient man, and many of the first sites were aligned to that. A lot of the dolmens, or the passage tombs, usually the opening is aligned to a solstice sunrise, a solstice sunset, depending on what kind of energy they were looking for. And also it depends on the earth energy they could find too, because the dolmens all sit on top of water veins. So they had to find a water vein the size of the dolmen, because they put the stones on top of either side of the water vein, and then they would align it mostly to the, if they could get it to the sun, to a specific sunrise or sunset. Uh, and the dolmens are interesting because they don't work the same as menhirs. They they're more electrical, where menhirs are more electromagnetic. Uh, electromagnetic, uh, and so, we don't know exactly what they were doing in dolmens, but they to me they seem that like they are a place where it's kind of a resonant, a chamber where when you do you do drumming, and it takes you out of your body boom, fast. You can go somewhere very quickly. So it's like a shamanic place where maybe people went on journeys or did healings or something. um, I don't think they were graves, personally. They never feel like graves to me. I think that the 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 bones that were buried there came later.
Much later,
You
yeah,
know,
yes.
yeah.
Well,
A lot of Oh, go
talk
ahead.
a little bit more about the difference in the dolmens and the menhir, because there may be people who don't know those differences. Just speak to that for just a minute.
Menhirs work with electromagnetic energy, so they as I was talking before, menhirs are standing stones. It's one stone is placed on a crossing of water veins, and
Mhm.
the size is always without fail the same size as the water veins. So it'll be the width and the length of the two water veins. Usually there's two, sometimes there's three or four water veins, but they sit right on those water veins, and they shift electromagnetic energy for the place around it for sometimes kilometers. Um, in France, I know there's stories of farmers who took manures out of their fields, and they soon regretted it because their crops didn't do as well.
Yeah.
and then and then dolmens are more electrical because you have the two stones that are standing like that, and then you place a huge stone on top. And so the stones themselves are made out of can be granite, and so there's little crystals in there. And so what you're doing is you're producing electricity when you put the big stone on top of the two stones or more stones on the way back. And exactly what they did with this, I really don't know. I know what the place feels like, and I could guess, some of the things that they do, but what they
Mhm.
were really doing, I have no idea. Some of them are on fertility waters, and you go, okay, well, maybe some kind of fertility rite. There's also the thought, or there's a book called Stone of Plenty, Seed of Knowledge by John Burke and another Kai something. And they their thesis, their idea is that many of the sacred sites, like dolmens and stuff like that, were to increase the um, fertility of seeds. And so they supercharge the seeds at a time in the year when there was like a lot of lightning going on. Uh, and then these supercharged seeds, they would plant them and they grow faster, they do much better. And they did a lot of experiments, and they proved that it worked. So maybe dolmens, I don't know if all dolmens are like that, but it's an interesting thought.
Well, yeah. Yeah,
um,
certainly some of them were, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Supercharge those seeds.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so that's the first part is man's looking at looking at the sun and figuring out where it is. And then, a lot of people, everybody knows Stonehenge, and it's related to the solstice sunrises and sunsets, and there's the moon stuff in there. So there's, stone circles that are connected with uh, the solstices. And in France, there's a fantastic place called Crucano, and it's quadrilateral. It's a rectangle of stones, and these stones, they're higher than me. They're huge stones, and the whole rectangle is connected. Each corner is connected to either a solstice sunrise or sunset, and so they actually made this rectangle connected to the sun. And this is the first solstitial quadrilateral. So this is the first, oh, the beginning of sacred geometry. Right there was this quadrilateral, because they connected it to the sun, to the cosmos, and also they connected it to a pattern of the earth. And the pattern of the earth is well, in France, or it's called, well, it's called a natural net. It also is called a solar net, and it's also called a Peyre net, because Dr. Peyre, he was in France, he discovered it. And the Hopis call it the road to the sun. So it's a golden net. It's like a grid-like structure that you can feel at the surface of the earth, and it changes a little bit from in latitude. And when you put the angles of the sun in this rectangle, or it can be square in different latitudes, you really have the first sacred geometry. This is the beginning of sacred geometry, of a harmonized space, and it's really cool. So this so, so we call it a solstitial quadrilateral. It's a rectangle of the sun, and it's really cool, because when you make one of these and you put weight in the corners, there's where nothing was, in the center, a vortex appears. And this vortex connects you to the earth and to the cosmos. It's like the sacred place, where you can find, connect to the divine, because you're rooted in the earth. You're really connected up to the heavens, and it's fantastic. And it changes all around the world. The size changes because the sun's angles are different in each latitude, which should be obvious.
Right.
So down by the equator, the rectangle is really skinny. And as you get toward more and more north, like in Moscow, it's a perfect square. And all sacred sites are built using this rectangle of the sun. That's how they all began, was this connection to the sun and to the earth. And it gives you this divine connection in the center.
Mm.
So that's a energetic solar geometry in a
Yes.
nutshell.
Yeah. And so how, talk about how that helps someone to be um, near that vortex, or within that square or rectangle. How does that impact the individual person who's there?
Oh, that's a good question. So when this rectangle square is around, you've got different kinds of Qualities. Okay. So one quality are the energies are organized. They're not disorganized. They're connected to the sun. It generates a harmonious place to be in, and it's a living structure. Because it's
Mhm.
connected to the sun and the earth and all that kind of good stuff. The energy inside feels balanced. It feels good. You can relax you can relax. um and let's see, your energy recharges. You can recharge, and when you're in the center, you can feel the connection to the earth and the sun. So but most importantly, it's a living structure. It's not like the houses nowadays where they slap up a building. Who knows what kind of dimensions they use? Whatever the architects decide is pleasing. But they don't. It's not. They're not connected to the earth anymore. They're not connected to the sun. They're not. You know, our houses. Our houses are horrible these days. Really, they're just horrible. Energetically, they're horrible.
Yeah.
They're just bad. Um, but that's a whole nother thing. Uh, but houses used to be built with the energies of the sun and the earth. They used to be, and it was, yeah, it's much nicer. Um, So interestingly enough, animals love good energy. They love harmonious energy, and they they seek them out to recharge their energy. Um, so if we built like a friend's house, I harmonized her house with a solstitial quadrilateral. As soon as we did that, we put four big stones in the corners, so there was some weight, because you need some weight to activate it. And as soon as we did that, her dog went right to the center of the place, laid down, and he was not moving. That was his spot. It's only the humans who've lost our ability to find the good places to relax,
Right, right.
recharge.
Oh, well, this is very interesting. I think I unknowingly have built one already. I have a large area. I live really in the woods, and I have this large area that I think probably at one time was somebody's large garden. And I've used it as a ceremony field for, 10 years or more. And we, about 3 years ago, very specifically put in the stones in the four directions. Now, one of them, two of them actually, were already boulders that were in the ground. And then
Mhm,
we added two others, the east and the north, we put in the ground. But that center part is so clearly very, very, very significant. I mean, the field is probably 80 feet in diameter or
mhm,
something like that. Um, it may be 80 wide and longer than that, but somewhere, in that neighborhood. And
mhm,
it's very clear where the center is without looking to see what's the center. Anyone can walk to that center place and recognize there's a difference there
mm, mhm. Oh,
yes.
it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I didn't know what it was called, what we had done.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, and part of what I want to do with the seminar is help people find ways, with the world as it's been in the last few months, with the changes and the virus
Mhm,
things, people are not going places right now to any great distances. Is there value in looking at pictures of sacred sites? Would someone feel an energetic response with pictures of sacred sites? What do you think about that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We tune into sacred sites a lot.
Uh-huh.
But you can put the picture in front of you and be neutral and then see where you can feel it in your body. Um, it's fun. It's kind of fun, you can go on a road trip by yourself.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And you can uh, well, well, this is a funny okay, it's a funny story, but so my husband, he harmonized a lady's house. It was a bad house or whatever. So he harmonized it, and he found one of these the solar net. He found, because they run north, south, east, west, and he found a point in the house where there was a point, and he noticed the woman had a picture of Chart. And so he put the little picture of Chart on this net, and because it would kind of give an energy, a nice heart opening energy to our house.
Uh-huh.
And so he left, and everything was fine. And she called him and said, "Hey, you need to come over here." And he's like, "Oh no, what happened?" "Can you tell me what's happening?" She goes, "No, you have to come over here, and you have to come over here." So he went over, and she said, "Okay, look outside. Can you see anything? Do you notice anything out there?" And he's like, "Oh, there's some grass, I don't know what I'm looking for. Not really." And she goes, "No, come here." And in the grass, the sharp labyrinth had grown there, because one thing that these nets do is energy can move through them. If you put like your sacred site on a particular place, it beams there. And so she had sharp labyrinth growing in her backyard.
Oh my goodness. The
So you also have to be,
grass the
yeah,
grass grew into the
the la-
matching
yeah,
pattern of that labyrinth.
yeah,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, yeah. So you have to be a little bit careful about what you put on your walls sometimes. So maybe
Wow.
there's energy moving that you're not expecting.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Mm,
absolutely true. Oh my goodness.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm astounded. That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so really being in the presence of sacred sites and looking at pictures and being aware of that sacred really is a part of that physical process of helping one change the energetic vibration of our physical bodies, which helps us
Absolutely.
connect more to the divine.
Mm.
Um, I know that that you very much like the ancient trees. Talk to us about trees being being sacred sites.
They are ancient sacred sites. um, well, the Druids, as we know, revered trees, and their the name. Let's see. I'm gonna get it wrong, so never mind. I know Druid means something with trees, tree lovers, tree
Uh-huh.
knowledge, or something like that. I forgot. Um, but their ancient sacred sites were um, oak groves and ancient oak trees. And if you can find, the older the tree, the better. So if you can find an old tree and stand next to it, you're going to feel, and if you're neutral, you can feel a connection to the earth. It helps ground you. The energy travels up through all your chakras, out the top of your head, and they I think they're the first sacred site, because
Mhm.
they have such a wonderful connection to the earth, and especially the old ones. I mean, you can really feel it. Your whole body just tingles and changes, and your vibration goes up and up and up and up and up. And I don't know. I love ancient trees. Oak trees are fantastic. Oh, and linden trees. If you can find an old linden tree, oh, they open your heart. They're just, oh, linden trees are fantastic. They're marvelous. Oak trees are more, boom, I'm here, I'm grounded, I'm connected. Wah!
Yes, yes. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't find many linden trees here in this area where I am, and I bought one, year before last and have planted it, and, it
Oh,
was
have you?
a little three-footer, and it's probably 7 feet tall now. I think this is the 2nd
Oh,
summer.
nice.
This will be the 2nd summer, of the tree, and I'm amazed at how fast it has grown, so I'm
Wow.
looking forward to having that lentil, uh, shade tree before too long.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Trees are fantastic.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, they are
Um,
really
yeah,
wonderful.
they
Yeah,
really are.
wow.
Yeah, and you can let go of all kinds of stuff too with trees. They just take your junk and send it into the earth.
Yes, they absolutely do. That's the amazing part of trees, how much the earth herself, how much she
Mm,
absorbs what we do to it and just keeps right on going.
mm,
And not to say that, yeah, I mean, we certainly have damaged the earth and need to take accountability for that, but yet the earth can hold that vibration so incredibly,
mm.
well, and help us as beings that walk around on her surface. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
amazing. It's amazing.
absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, well, this has just been wonderful. I really appreciate, you being here and telling us about all these wonderful things that you're involved in. I know that you have a website and an organization and do, sacred sites and do trainings, online and face to face. Tell us a little bit about those.
Okay, well, my website is called energeticgeometry.com. It's a new website, so I'm very happy to shift over from into something new this year. We do certificate. One of our trainings is a certification training, and we teach people how to work with solar geometry, how to build energetic structures. A lot of our people that study with us are architects, so they learn how to build harmonious structures, that are good for people. That and we also teach how to build healing labyrinths. One of my favorite things is a chakra path, and we you learn the measurements of the chakras, and then we find them in the earth, and you learn how to build a path that balances and aligns each chakra as you walk in it. It's a real profound energetic healing thing. Uh, and there's so much. We teach so much in the certification. It's even on the website, you don't even get half of what we teach. I mean, you just can't say it all. I mean, Dominique is just an amazing teacher. I don't know where he comes up. Some of the stuff is like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. Um, and then we're doing a lot more, or we're starting our online classes. We have one called the Solstitial Quadrilateral Revealed, which talks about the solstitial quadrilateral. It talks about sacred sites and how it was used in different sacred sites. We teach how to body dowse, and it's it's jam-packed with information. It's 8 modules, and at the end, you learn how to harmonize your house and or apartment, which is incredibly healing right now for people. We're so out of balance with all the Wi-Fi and all that all the electrical energy that's just bombarding our bodies. Everybody's totally stressed, and we've lost our connection to the earth. We are, we teach a little bit about earthing in there because you know modern man is pretty messed up. So we just live out of balance.
Yeah.
Some of this class, we give you some practical tools on how to heal your home, which is a fantastic thing. We are doing a tree class, tree energy and spirituality. That should be done in the next couple weeks. And I hope our next one is going to be the art of stones. I can't wait for that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we're going to do some labyrinth classes. But anyway, so online classes are coming, or we have them. And we do a magical Brittany tour, which you really get to come and experience the energies of sacred sites and work with the vortexes and all your chakra systems and really raise your vibration and connect to the different qualities of sacred sites. And uh, it's wonderful. I love it. Don't know when the next one is because of our fantastic situation on the earth right now. Hopefully next year. We'll do one we like to do them in the summertime.
Mhm.
And I think that's it. I think
Okay.
that's all going on
Yeah.
right now.
Right. And I understand for your free gift that you're going to give a $25 discount for people who register for the free gift. And we'll put that information on the website so that people can link over to get the code that they need for that discount.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there will be a place there for people to sign up for your mailing list as well. So we'll
Mhm.
put all that information on the summit website, and people can link over to that.
Oh,
Yeah,
fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, we'd love to see any and all of you.
yeah, that's wonderful. Well, I just want to thank you so very much for being here. I really appreciate you taking the time to share with us all these wonderful, wonderful things. Because there's so much to know and understand about the earth energies, and I
Yeah.
I mean, just it is a world unto itself,
Yeah.
in terms of studying and learning how to do that. So thank you so much. Thank you. I
Well,
really
thank you.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you. This
Yeah.
was a fantastic opportunity. I appreciate you too, Peggy. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you.